I'm an artist working with light and reflective materials living in Brooklyn, New York. Like when I first moved to New York City, it was 1985. But I thought that the city was amazing because it was at this very delicate balance point between total chaos and order. And I loved that. When I was corporate, I taught accounting to people who had no education, and it was a complex theory, particularly because I was explaining how these complex ideas pertain to their life and what they could do to change it. I got a real charge out of that, and so did they. I just felt like I'd made magic. With my painting, I articulated a goal years ago that I wanted my paintings to move and stay still at the same time. I feel like I am simultaneously a painter and a sculptor. These can be read as paintings until the lights turn on, and then they become three-dimensional objects. I had wanted to work for light for a long time before I finally figured out that there was no place to start except stopping painting. But after a few years of working with light, I realized that light stays still and moves at the same time. So I'm interested in using light to create an experience that nobody knows about. My first love has always been Byzantine mosaics, which I consider to be the original light work. If you go to the Cathedral of Monreale in Sicily, you can see how they, and also in Ravenna, you can see how they calculated the windows and what time of day the sunlight would hit, what mosaics. Like at Monreale, the steps up to the altar have certain kinds of gold and other reflective mosaics so that at certain times of the day it looks like the altar is levitating. All my work was, including my painting, was always very structural, which was the way that I could use abstraction from the very beginning, and the viewer would still feel like it was recognizable. Well, I see gesture as a direct outgrowth because it's a spatial act that translates into a stroke, but you can still see the movement that went into it. So I started studying the Kabbalah very briefly because it's so difficult. Went through every single letter in the Hebrew alphabet in the book of Genesis. And what they represented in the book of Genesis was not really about Adam and Eve. It was a nice little story that hid meaning with every letter. So you really had to focus, and it was very intellectual. And you focused enough, and you suddenly felt like you were going through a tube and you were somewhere else. And I was amazed, obviously. It just takes you to a different place. If I could put it into words, I don't see any point in doing anything else. It's my hope that my work elicits sensations and emotions that are not normally, available to the viewer. I feel when it's done, I don't think when it's done. Like Matisse used to talk about sensations. He said he was interested in eliciting sensations, and that was the most important thing.